Welcome to the fundamentals. In this video, we'll be talking about resources. Resources include the personnel and equipment that perform work on activities across all projects. A resource can also be said to be anything used to complete an activity. And a resource can be in form of labor, that is, manpower and personnel. It can also be in form of non-labor, which is equipment. And of course, resource can also be in form of materials, such as consumable items like sands, cement, gravel, and so on. This is my pieces, and in order for you to start building resources, you must be at the resource page. You can get to the resource page through your toolbars on the left. Right there is your resources. So when you click on it, you're going to be on the resource page. Now, the reason why mine is showing blank is because on the display, it's saying current projects resources. And of course, I don't have any resource. I don't have any project open at this point. So when I click on display, I come down to filter by. Now I'll click on all resources. When I do that, it's going to display to me the different kind of resources that are already being used in the course of time in this particular Primavera. So this is where we're going to start to add the resources as instructed in class. So what I'm going to do, I want to create another group of resources in which all of this will be in. So I'll go to the Add button on the right hand side and click on it. So if you're using this for the first time, it's going to display this dialog box for you. And if you don't want it to continue to show this each time you try to add a resource, just click on the checkbox that says do not show this wizard again, and it's going to tell you that in order for you to reset this back to default, this is how you're going to go about it. So I'll click on OK, and I'll also click on finish. Now I have my resource added. So I'm going to start by making it a resource group. So at this point, I'm going to give this resource group a resource ID and also a resource name. So just like we did in class, the resource ID was MAP 001 and the resource name is Mega Apartment Resources. Having done that, I will come to the detail part of it, click on the details, and here where we have the calendar, I'll change it to one of the calendars that we created in class, which is the Mega Apartment Calendar 1. I'll make that the calendar for this resource group. Now I'm going to start to add the resources one after the other, starting from the project manager. So again, I will come to the Add button, click on it. Now it's going to indent it, which is what I want to see, because I want it to be under the Mega Apartment Resources group. That's what I have at this point. So at this point, I'm going to add the resource ID, resource name, and other information that we have in the spreadsheet. So according to our spreadsheet, the resource ID is MA1001. I'll type MA1001, and the resource name is Project Manager. Project Manager. Now at this point, there are other information that I need to put in there, which includes the rate per hour. I'm making sure that the resource calendar is also going to be Mega Apartment Calendar 1. And of course, the unit per time is also going to be 8 hours. So on my detail part on the resource page, I'm going to go to the details tab, and by default, whenever you add a resource, it's going to add it as label. If you need to change it to the other kind of labels that we talked about, then you click whichever one is appropriate. But in this case, since we are dealing with label, I leave it the way it is. Now all I need to make sure at this point is to make sure that the calendar that is being chosen is exactly the one that we are told to use. In this case, it's saying Mega Apartment Calendar 1, and that's fine. Then the default unit per time is also going to be 8 hours per day. Then I go to the next tab, which is unit per price. At this point, it's going to be using the first day of the year that you are in as your effective date. In the maximum unit per time is where you're going to make sure that you put in the appropriate number of hours that this resource will be available. In this case, it's 8 hours per day. I leave it at that. The next I need to do now is to come in and put in the standard rate. According to our spreadsheet that we're using, we are told that the rate per hour for this resource is $60. So I will come in here and type 60. With that simple exercise, I've just completed adding the first resource. Now go to the next one, which is the engineer. The same process, I click on add. Again, it's going to be indenting it because that is the way the software is designed. So all I need to do is use my arrows on the bottom of the two bars on the right to move it to the left one time. That way it's going to be at the same level with the one that we added earlier. Now at this point, I'm going to have to input in all the data. So the resource ID is MA1002 and the resource name is engineer. Okay. Then I'll go to the detail to make sure that everything is in order. Of course, by default, it's going to be label, which is what we want, and it's still using the Mega Apartment Calendar 1, which is also what we wanted. And now it's also saying 8 hours per day, which is also what we are told to use for this resource. The only thing left is for me to make sure I input in the hourly rate. So I'll go to my units and prices tab, and I'll come here and type $65. And that completes that exercise. So at this point, I'm going to add the next one, which is the power main, which happens to be The very first one, that is a group resource. Now you can see the first three, they are just one single resource, and then going down the list afterward, they are group resource. So I'm going to do example of wrong. So I'm going to add the very first group resource that we have, which is PowerMen. So it says there are 15 of them, and they're going to be paid $30 per hour. And right here where it says unit per time, simply saying that if we have 15 of them, and each one of them is going to be working 8 hours per day, that means the unit per time is simply 15 times 8, and that gives us 120. And that is the maximum unit per time that we're going to put as we build the resource. So click on my heart sign. Again, I'm going to outdent it one time and put in the informations. MA1004. The name of the resource is PowerMen. Now on the detail part, it's still going to be you saying the mega apartment calendar 1, which is fine. This time around, the default unit per time have to change because there are 15 of them, and the unit per time is going to say 120. And that's what I'm going to type under the default unit per time. Now I go to my units and prices. Under the maximum units per time, it's also going to say the same thing, which is 120 hours per day. And now under the standard rate, I'm going to type in the appropriate amount, which is $30 per hour. I'm going to type 30 in there, and that concludes how we input in or add a resource that is a group resource. So our homework is to go home and complete the rest of the resource entry, so that when next we meet in class, we're going to discuss how to start to assign these resources to their respective activities. I hope you find this class useful. If so, I'll see you in the next class. Thank you.
Hello, and thank you for being part of this teaching. We hope this video has been very helpful to you. Just a reminder that this is one of the videos in this series, and all the videos are available on this YouTube channel. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and leave a comment in the comment section. If you find this video helpful and you're yet to subscribe to our channel, kindly do so by clicking on the subscription button to afford yourself easy access to more videos that are constantly being loaded for the purpose of enhancing your careers. Are you interested in taking the full course for this training? Please visit our website at www.greenlandfoundations.com. You can reach us via email info@greenlandfoundations.com or glandfoundations@gmail.com, as well as communicate with us via phone, text messages, or WhatsApp at area code 281-772-0211. We have live online and remote classes for the following: Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, Microsoft Office Tools, Project Management Professionals, Basic Computer Training, and many more.